So I was recently having a conversation with a friend of mine about my journey and the journey in general from becoming someone who is part-time, or maybe you haven't even started your business yet. You might just simply be someone who has an ambition to work for yourself full-time, and actually getting there and what that process looks like and what the steps look like. I remember my journey, like starting out as an entrepreneur, just an ambitious young black guy from London, and trying my best to like figure out entrepreneurship with not many mentors and not much of a blueprint, or not people who were around me anyway. Like there were blueprints on the internet and people, who've written books, and you can take inspiration from that and stuff like that. But as someone who didn't really have a lot of people around me who was doing what I wanted to do, it kind of felt like figuring it out by myself. And I wanted to kind of create a video on some of the things that I've done to help go from having a business idea and it becoming something that turns into a full-time income. At the moment, my business funds my entire lifestyle. Like I don't have a job separate from what I do in terms of digital marketing. So it wasn't always like that though. And I realized that a lot of you who consume my content, you might be in a similar position in the sense that you have an idea for a business, or you have an ambition to be self-employed and to start a business. But at the moment you might be working full-time or studying full-time, or the business at the moment is just an idea, or it's just a part-time income, or it might even be less than a part-time income. And how do you take that and turn it into something that funds your lifestyle essentially? And that's what this video is all about. So I guess the first thing that I would say, and this is something that I say to my friends as well, some of my closest friends and family members, when they come to me and they come with their business ideas and stuff like that, is taking action. Like there's so many things that you can do that I would consider like busy work and not actually doing business work. So you can kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're doing work on your business where actually you're really not. You're postponing it rather than taking action. So this kind of manifests itself in online in terms of taking courses as well. And don't get me wrong, like obviously online courses can be really helpful. I have loads of online courses, and it's one of the way in which I make an income online is by training people and delivering online courses. That being said, online courses should be like a supplement to you running your business. So if you know anything about working out and, trying to bulk and get a little bit bigger, put some more meat on your bones or whatever it might be, there might be supplements that you can take to help increase your calorie intake. And, if you speak to a professional about these supplements, they will tell you they're not supposed to replace your normal meals, but they are a supplement to help add more calories and more protein to your diet so that you can bulk up and build up. And it's the same with running your business. Like there are things that you can do to help supplement the business, but those things themselves is not going to help you to grow. And taking online courses is one of those things. Taking an online course is very passive, or reading a book is very passive. And one of the things that I see a lot of people doing is they will spend 6, 7, 8 months taking courses, and they've got enough information to actually start. And you learn a lot more when you start as well, and make adjustments along the way when you start with your business. So I would always say, as long as you have the basic information and you know step one, then take step one. You don't have to know 100 steps before you take step one. If anything, I would say take a course or watch a YouTube video or read a book right at the point of which you actually need it. So for example, you might have a product that you want to sell, and that's your business, is selling this particular product. You can take loads of courses on SEO, on how to get that product ranked. You can take a Shopify course on how to build a Shopify store, and maybe it's a drop shipping product. You take some courses on drop shipping, and now you've done 3 or 4 courses before you've even put your website live. And this might have cost you £500-600 before you've even gone live with your business. So now all of a sudden, rather than the business funding your lifestyle, you're now funding the business, and you're losing money each month just on tasks that are not driving your business forward. Whereas actually the better thing to do would be to focus on income generating activities, and not just income generating activities, but like highly profitable income generating activities. So when I was starting out, before I was full-time self-employed, I was always looking at what's bringing me in the most amount of money. So for example, I was doing e-commerce when I first started online. eBay and Amazon was doing extremely well for me, and other platforms were, doing okay. And so I decided to double down and really focus on eBay and Amazon. I got more products in, similar products to what I was selling, and I was able to scale the business to a point where it was now a full-time income at the time. So the only way you can do that is by trying. Like I could have taken loads of digital courses on e-commerce and try to figure out which one is going to work best based on the courses and the research that I've done. And yes, to a certain extent, that can cut your kind of your knowledge gap down, and you might make better decisions if you watch certain videos or do certain tasks, and it may help you to kind of make less mistakes along the way if you take courses or read books or whatever it might be. But again, that should be a supplement. Maybe during the working hours or during the hours that you've set to work on your business, you actually do the tasks of listing your products on eBay or creating your Shopify store and publishing it. And I say creating your website with a pinch of salt, because I've even seen people waste so much time and money on websites that could have been and should have been published ages ago. So one of my first ever digital marketing clients, like this was such a long time ago, I took him on as a client. And by the time he came to me, he'd already spent in the tens of thousands of pounds on his website that had not even been live yet, had not gone live. And I find this crazy because you can sometimes, depending on what the product is that you're trying to sell, what the service is that you're trying to sell, you can start a website literally for less than £500. And you can bring money in. Like if you do what I said, which is focusing on those income generating activities, you can actually bring loads of money in and use that money and reinvest it in the business to then build a website that is bigger and better and income generating if that's what you wanted to do. So he wasted so much money, and we're not even talking about the marketing of the website. By the time the marketing of the website came, he'd spent all of the money on building the website. So not only can you waste time on learning, but you can also waste time on building extra things that you might not need. So I would say this to those of you who are trying to go full time and you're not there yet. How can you make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time possible? And I know it might sound like an outrageous thing to think or to say, but the reason why this is important is because we have a limited amount of energy, we have a limited amount of time. And so we want to spend the least amount of energy, and we want that least amount of energy to generate the most amount of revenue for our business. And once you have revenue, once you have income coming into the business, you can then reinvest, whether that might be to make improvements on aspects of the business itself or to hire help so that they can help you to do the tasks that are not income generating or might not necessarily be income generating, but it might help keep the business ticking or help with the professionalism of the business. So I would always say, look, the priority should be you becoming full-time in the business. Not just because you're living the dream now and you're an entrepreneur and you can work for yourself and whatever it might be, but it means that all of your focus is on your business. Like if I had a full-time job as well as being a digital marketing consultant, it takes a lot of time and energy and effort away from my main thing or what I want to be my main thing. So you becoming full-time is really important because that means you can put more energy and effort into the business, and the business obviously is going to benefit from that in the long run. So I would say one of the biggest things is take away those distractions, those things that might feel like you're working on the business, but you're not really, you're just procrastinating starting. So start as soon as possible, bring money in as soon as possible, get the things that you need. So if it's resources that you need and you need to buy things or whatever it might be, if there's a specific course that you actually need because you need to learn that thing in order to progress the business to the next stage, take the course, but take action immediately. Like I remember one time I was in a training session, a digital marketing training session, and I can't remember exactly what the topic was on, but But I remember sitting next to a guy who had his laptop open, and he was literally like putting in place in his business what the tutor was telling us whilst he was in the class. So by the time the class had finished, he'd already done it. He'd already tried it and explored it. And I think it's that kind of action that separates people who would kind of always be part-time or never make a lot of income, and people who will thrive in business is not just people who consume information, but people who take like radical action and really get their business out there, and, you know, take the tips and the strategies from the courses that they're taking and actually launch their business. But the people who are like, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to launch in 6 months, and then 6 months comes and they haven't launched, but they've got 100 excuses. And if you're that person who usually has 100 excuses, like stop. No more excuses. Start the business and start generating income. Start getting clients like in the quickest way possible and grow your business. And no more excuses for not being full-time in business if you know that's where you want to be. I'm going to do my best to put out more videos to help you along that journey as well. If you have kind of any specific concerns or things that you feel are hindering you from getting to that place, do leave it in the comment section, because I'm going to use that to help me with future videos as well. I've also started a series on my social media where I'm kind of answering questions that I get in comments or on messages on social media. So if you want your questions answered on social media, then leave them in the comments or send me a direct message on any of my social media. They will be in the description down below. But I hope this video brought you value, and if it did, please click the like button down below and make sure you share this video with a friend. But until next time, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.